Welcome to Garden Plants with Jim Putnam. Let's talk blue ice cypress. So this is a plant that I see with a lot of names, sometimes Cupressus arizonica, sometimes Cupressus glabra, sometimes Cupressus arizonica variety glabra. All that aside, it's a beautiful blue Arizona cypress, we'll call it. Not a true cypress, but looks certainly similar to other cypresses. Beautiful blue-green foliage on this, just an icy blue year-round. We don't have a lot of opportunity in the south to grow really blue conifers, but this is one we do. Upright, narrow growth habit, kind of a scaly needle on this thing. Really one of my absolute favorites. This was apparently a chance seedling in New Zealand. So the two main ones of these you're going to see out in the trade, one is called Carolina Sapphire. Definitely has a little bit more of a true blue color, and it's faster growing. So if you're using these as screening plants and you're trying to get it done fast, Carolina Sapphire might be a slightly better choice. It also stays probably a little bit overall fuller. This one has more of a blue icy look to it, almost a little bit of white in the blue on this one, on blue ice, which perfect name, right, for that. Both can get quite big, so these can get 40 to 50 feet in height, maybe 15 to 20 feet in width over time. Carolina Sapphire is definitely going to grow a little faster. This one grows about a foot a year, which is pretty fast. But when we're talking about some of the upright screening conifers, some of them grow, like green giants or Carolina Sapphires, they can grow 3 feet in a single season. This probably isn't going to do that, but ultimately it is going to get quite big over time. Inconspicuous flower that produces a cone in the fall. These are hardy in zone 6 to 9, and as you might expect with a plant with Arizona in the name, it will take very, very hot, full sun conditions. So uses for blue ice cypress, obviously as a screening plant, you can line them up like soldiers. We tend to recommend that folks, use a mixed border screen, because if you end up with some sort of insect or disease problems or some sort of winter you don't expect, ice storm, whatever it is, you don't lose your entire screen in one shot. So, it's best to mix it up. But these are definitely great plants to put in that one spot where you definitely don't want to see the neighbor's second floor window. That's where I would line this thing up for sure. Great as a windbreak, great for erosion control. If you have, someplace where there's a bank next to it, it'll root right down that and hopefully hold some of that soil in place. And then, of course, as just a one of a kind, this is just a big, giant blue conifer that you can use, as the centerpiece of a bed, as the backdrop to all of your other landscape design. And as you can see, sitting next to these purple foliage loropetalum, how much these two things just pop off of one another. This is an example of something that's light in color that other darker green things, purple foliage things, will stand out near. These like moist, well-drained soil, and I say that for almost every plant. You'd think a plant out from the desert wouldn't like our wetter conditions here in the east, but these things actually just grow faster. They absolutely love it. So very tolerant of different soil types. They're actually overall more drought tolerant than Carolina Sapphire, but I don't think that's going to be an issue in the east part of the country where we're getting regular rainfall. But if you're out in drier climates, maybe in West Texas or something like that, blue ice might be the one you would prefer over Carolina Sapphire. Blue ice really requires pretty much no maintenance from you. Once you get this in the ground, you're going to water it for the first year or so, getting it established. But once it's established, if you're in an area that gets regular rainfall at all, you're probably not going to have to do any ongoing watering on them. Pruning, you can shear them a bit while they're smaller if you're trying to make sure that they end up being fuller in the future. And of course, if you get some sort of crazy limb out on the side of it, you can cut that whenever. But if you want to do a little bit of shearing, don't take the leader off the top of it, but you can do a little side shearing on them to maybe keep them a little narrower as they get bigger. Eventually, they're going to be higher than you can probably maintain them at. They can be fertilized in the late winter, early spring with some sort of organic fertilizer, but probably don't need any fertilizing either. Really very pest-free. It's just not a plant I worry about. The aromatic foliage, which I haven't even talked about how aromatic the foliage is, deters deer and other chewing insects. So this is blue ice cypress.